Renee. These Cute-servatives are from all over the country, and they're going to ask me anything. So we'll start with you. Tell us your name, where you're from, what you're studying, you know, whatever is applicable.
I'm Ariana Alonso, and I live in Caldwell, New Jersey, and I'm going to be a junior in the fall at William Powers University, where right now they will not let us have a Turning Point chapter. So we're trying to get there and fight.
My name's Heaven Angel, and I go to the University of Texas at San Antonio. I'm studying politics and law. I faced a lot of pushback at my university.
I kind of love the dark Baldur's Gate music playing in the background. It's pretty great.
With administrators and faculty.
They are, yeah, they're children. Please be kind and don't make weird comments. Okay.
That's definitely has been fun, but I'm still fighting the great fight.
My name is Mila Radetich. I'm from Stanford University in California, and I'm studying for my MD PhD in trauma surgery.
Hi, I'm Angeli Webb, and I'm from Yorba Linda, California. I'm the president of my Turning Point chapter at my high school, and we have a very supportive community, so I hope to keep that going.
It has both benefited me and also has hurt my organization. Like I know for like social media has been a great factor of like recruiting people, but at the same time people like abuse social media. Like I know my secretary commented, because like my university is very left-leaning. She had made like a comment about like leave the children alone on one of the posts, and immediately my Turning Point account was like so many DMs from UTSA students being like, you need to remove her position. She's saying all these things.
I have a lot of experience being censored, so I'm normally not able to gain that much attention on social media. That's definitely been a challenge for myself and with my school. I got censored for talking about the vaccine, which is one of my main missions. It's to expose and talk about medical transparency, because that's one of the most things that I would say are not talked about at all. COVID still exists in California, apparently.
How about you? What has been challenging for you on social media as a chapter leader?
So usually it's adults, like whether it be in the community or maybe in an educational setting, they always, you know, it's their job to monitor activity and make sure everyone's safe, but I find that they take things out of proportion. And for example, if we're trying to say that Big Gov sucks, then honestly high schoolers use bad language, although it's not good, but they try to.
Damn, foiled again by the language. My body.
Find the nitty-gritty in everything. Like if I'm using a hashtag that's even a little bit edgy or even fun, they think that, you know, it's a bit.
Wait, so you're saying that your school, your high school, tries to tell you that using the terminology Big Gov sucks or that phrase is too crass or inappropriate because you're using the word sucks?
Yes.
Is this a public school?
Yes.
And I'm assuming
And I'm assuming your parents' tax dollars pays for that public school. They're infringing on your right of free speech, young lady.
They have LGBTQ clubs and things like that where they're bringing in Planned Parenthood to do sex ed and stuff?
Yes.
Interesting.
So for myself, I go to a very leftist campus as well, and I love Facebook. It's like my little safe.
You love Facebook?
I love it.
How old are you?
20.
You're like one of the only ones.
You're like one of the only people in your generation to love Facebook. It's almost like it's just where people with outdated conservative policies go. It's crazy, bro.
I love it. I love it.
One of the only Gen Zers left.
Nope, I love it. Nope, everyone can make fun of me. I'm done with the Snapchat stage. I'm a Facebook girly. So I post, every time I have an event, I always post it on Facebook. I have my separate albums of like every political thing I do, and my neighbors, like, they're never a fan of like what I do. And it's kind of sad that we live in this generation where no one supports each other anymore. And I went to an all-girls Catholic school before going to college, and I'm friends with no one anymore. If people can say their views, why can't I speak mine?
I mean, no one's obligated to be your friend, and if they don't like what you're saying, they are totally within their rights to not be your friend. You know, like, if they find your behavior objectionable, they're not obligated to be your friend. You know, like that's you're running into the issue of my friends didn't like me being bigoted. They stopped being friends with me. How do I deal with that? It's like, well, maybe just stop being bigoted. Like,
mine. Then you go through like the whole social media thing. I post one turning point thing, I lose 100 followers.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Wow.
Yeah, why would people not want to follow an account that's spreading a message that hates like trans and gay people? Like what? I can't figure that out.
But when you post like about abortion or about something else, I don't know, follow you and just scroll past.
No, I've lost so many followers about being vocal on social media. So before I used to just like post myself a lot, and I got so many followers and things like that. And then once I started being vocal about like my political beliefs, I lost so many followers. And at first I was like, this is scary. But I remember I was literally going to Starbucks on my college campus, and this girl came up to me that I hardly ever knew, and she's like, because you're so vocal on social media about being conservative, you made me like want to be more vocal about it too.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you feel like you stand out in a good way to boys because you're conservative? Like, are they like, you're conservative, you're posting all of these conservative
They like
beliefs?
see you as like a gem. Like,
Because some of you aren't old enough to drink yet, but I mean, when I'm going out and stuff, like if I get asked at a bar, what do you do for a living? And I say, oh, I work in politics. Oh, so what does that mean? I say, I'm conservative. They flock to me. They love it. They love it. They'll gather their friends around. They'll be like, this girl says she's pro-life. And then they want to have a whole discussion about it. So it plays well for me. So I'm curious, being younger, how it plays for you.
It's definitely like one of two extremes, because in California, it's either like, I can't believe you don't want to split the check. I can't believe you don't want to take care of your man, but like lead the relationship. Everyone is very, at least in my area, against religion, against just general like the 10 Commandments, those kinds of conservative values and religious values, or having a faith at all. When men tend to hear that I'm conservative, they run away just as fast as the girls. But when I go out of state, it's completely opposite reaction.
so you need to leave California.
Do high school guys bring up that you are really into politics?
Usually they're into like fishing and hunting, but I find at my school they're a little bit too focused on like, not too focused, but they like to do their activities without the controversy. Like they face enough controversy that they try to avoid like confrontation. So at least for younger high school boys, I find that to be how it is.
Do you think they find you intimidating?
I think so, possibly.
They
I
want to
think
do
all of us have been
activities without
described as
controversy.
intimidating.
Really?
Yeah.
I have too. Or too opinionated, or it's intimidating because I already have everything figured out. I'm like, well, you gotta catch up, you got a lot to learn.
In Texas, I feel like they just see you as a rare gem. That's the way that I feel about it. They're like, oh, you want to be a trad wife? Perfect. Like because like I'm very upfront about that. Like my dream is to be a mom, like is to be a wife. Like that's what I want. And when men hear that, it's like they want that.
Is anyone
crave
else
for that.
Is anyone else on your campuses or at your school saying things like, oh, my biggest dream is to be a wife or a mom?
No, you don't hear that anymore.
Is it only career?
No, I feel like not even that anymore. I feel like we're in a very weird generation, especially like I babysit full time. So like seeing what these kids act like, I'm like, whoa, what are you gonna act like in a few years from now? Like it's a totally different like seed. And
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing here, right, like make no mistake, folks, like what we're seeing here is grooming. They're grooming these children. That's what Turning Point USA is all about. Child grooming. It's also no coincidence that they work with, people who have literally groomed children or people who own child pornography. Like, this is exactly what they do.
I think it's actually really frightening, like, especially like for us, like it's actually interesting because like we're all friends here. So like I'll call her and be like, oh hey, guess what happened on campus today? You'll never believe this. And like the administration like hates me because again, I stick up for what I believe in and I always table and like they'll try to shut it down. People take pictures. And I mean, I love the fans.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Like I don't know for y'all, when y'all tabled, y'all get like the side pic, like when they're walking.
Yeah.
And I would literally be like, like post.
But when you guys are going out, let's say you go out for a friend's birthday dinner, or you go to a sleepover, or whatever. So there's a mix of girls your age that are conservative, or maybe non-political, or maybe more liberal. Are you the only ones you feel like in that group of girls that are saying things like, "I'd love to be married one day," or "I'd love to be a mom one day"?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I love like events like this, because here I'm like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Like,
we really come together out here because it's so difficult to connect, especially when we're very liberal cities or leftist universities, places like, or high schools. Everyone, it's like the silent majority, everyone's scared to speak out. Everyone's, if you hold these opinions, everyone's too scared to talk about it.
Do you think it's interesting or boring talking about like parenting styles and parenting opinions before being a parent?
No.
Like interesting or no?
No, I literally, when I walk into Marshalls, I'm like, there's the baby dress I want. I'm like, there she is.
Every time I see like little babies, I'm like,
I just think about
Everyone, there were a couple of moms that brought their children, and all the women, you saw them flock. They're like, do you need help babysitting?
So for example, so you guys all were at the Young Women's Leadership Summit this year? Not this year? Okay, so you're coming next year. Front row, I'll make sure of it. For those that were there, I did a lot of like parenting speak. I talked about daycare and things like that in my speech. So, I mean, totally, I won't be offended, but do you guys find that stuff interesting being non-parents, or is it kind of like, I'm not there yet, I'm not really that interested?
I loved it.
No, I loved everything. Like, I want to be a good mom one day, and I feel like you need to like learn now in order to become a mother.
Because the mainstream media said in attacks on me based on that speech that you guys who are not mothers yet, the mainstream media, when they attacked me, they said that nobody in the audience cared that I was talking about things like, hey, things you should know whenever you become a mother, or things to consider when it comes to parenthood and things like that. They said everybody was bored.
That's one of the most significant moments that could happen in a woman's life, like but that's one of the things that God created us for.
It's our nature.
It is in our nature. So thinking about it beforehand, it shouldn't be considered like, oh, so boring. I think we all have as women.
And I think it is also a little upsetting that they don't think we have an opinion on that. They want to take our voice out, and it's like, no, like God inhibited that upon us. We are meant to be mothers one day. Like, we should have an opinion on that. We should know what's going on in our bodies. I think, especially you talked about a lot of birth control.
Man, it's so weird, man. These underage girls talking about the need to become mothers and how they've been groomed by
ready and willing
this organization. It's a lot. It's a lot. Man, I hate this. And now they're going to be talking about the dangers of birth control, how dangerous taking birth control actually is. Did you guys know it's dangerous to take birth control, apparently?
Like that, like as teenagers, that is something we need to know about, because like they aren't having that conversation with us.
Are your friends, left or right, do you feel like a lot of girls are ditching birth control or not getting on it altogether?
No, I know
they're using it still?
They're starting it at 12 years old, and you're hearing later like all these infertility, like they're getting fertility treatments because they want to start a family, or maybe they don't at all because they just give up altogether. Starting birth control so young is causing so many health issues.
No, and that's why I think it's so important.
Well, you know what else causes health issues? Getting pregnant and giving birth. Those two things cause so many more health issues than taking birth control. Like, if you are sexually active, it might be a good idea for you to take birth control, just for your own health and safety. This isn't controversial. It's dangerous for young girls to be pregnant. It's dangerous for them to be pregnant and to give birth. It's way more dangerous than it is for an adult. And you know what? The maternal mortality rate in the United States is actually really bad, comparatively. So maybe just don't roll those dice for children. And like, if they are choosing to be sexually active, they should have the ability to get birth control if they need it and want it. You know, just would be a good thing. Also, having a child as a teen when you're not ready can literally derail your life. Well, no, it's not like it can. It absolutely will. There's no situation in which a teenager becomes a parent in high school and it doesn't derail their entire life.
Because for me, like, I got on birth control when I turned 18, and like when I had like the conversation with my doctor was more like, what's the easiest thing? She didn't even give me like what like side effects I was going to have.
She said, what type of birth control do you want? Not like, hey, do you even want to do birth control at all? Here are the side effects and things you should know.
She didn't have that conversation with me. It was more like, get on this, do this, and I wasn't even like
What? So you had a conversation with your doctor, and your doctor just apropos of nothing suggested you be on birth control, and then you didn't ask any questions about it and just were like, okay. That's really weird. That's really deeply weird, actually.
And once I finally realized, like, I want to get off of it. Like, I don't want that in my body. Like, I want my body to be natural and normal, and I wish I would have had the knowledge of that.
Do you feel like you were given informed consent at the doctor's office before getting on birth control?
I feel like they kind of force you. Like, like when I go to like to the gynecologist and everything, she'll be like, oh, it's time. The arm bar, like the pill. I look at her, I'm like, no. She's like, well, then what's gonna happen? I go, I'm gonna raise my child and I'm gonna love her, he or she. Only 2 genders, by the way. You know.
Informed.
Yeah, I wonder why you guys don't have any friends.
Have a lot on my mind.
You know, like you're talking like fucking 80-year-olds.
Consent is definitely a problem. That's for sure. It started, I don't even think it started with the vaccine, but it definitely became popular with the vaccine. When you guys, did any of you guys get it?
Nope.
I did.
You did. How do you feel about it now?
I regret the fact that I got it. I only got it just because my mom has like health side effects, and I feel like it's also because of the media that we had that fear that we needed to have it. Like, she was like, I don't want to get sick, da da da, and I like.
Oh my God! This poor lady's mom, like, imagine just being like, having your daughter go on a show and just talk about like, oh yeah, my mom was bitching and moaning about how, I'm immune compromised, I don't want to get sick. Like, yeah, I guess, fuck your mom, I guess. Like,
I posted about this. I was like, the government utilizes fear to put control over you, and that is what they did with the vaccine. They're like, you need this, you're gonna die with that, and it's like, I was like, Mom, we're.
Over 1 million people have died. I think now the number's over 1.1 million people have died from COVID, and there's like a massive spike currently going through the U.S. medical system. Like, man, it's so frustrating to hear this narrative from children who should know better.
Like, we're healthy, we eat healthy, we exercise, we don't need this.
You know, we have.
Oh yeah, we eat healthy and exercise. That will help you against smallpox. That'll help you against illnesses. Well, I'm sure if you eat right and exercise, you know, those brain-eating amoeba, they'll just you know, they'll just be chill. They just won't eat your brain.
Have classes in medical school on how to coerce patients to take the vaccine. The literal classes, they're titled something similar to that. When it comes to informed consent, I can tell you I was forced to get it, or they were going to kick me out of school midway through nursing, and I did get side effects from it. I did become paralyzed. I did start having grand mal seizures, and I was told I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. And I'm just lucky to be here today, but the fact that I wasn't given informed consent, nobody was willing to treat me in the entire state. I went several months without.
Because you were vaccine injured.
Because I was vaccine injured, and they just passed a law in California.
Vaccine injured?
That is saying that treating vaccine injured is.
I have literally never heard the term vaccine injured before in my life. That doesn't sound even remotely close to an actual term.
Equal to medical misconduct. So they're taking people's licenses.
No, there's not medical transparency, and they utilize fear. And like going back on birth, yeah, they completely. And it's to have that control over you, and like to make you like they want to make you seem like you're a conspiracy theorist for asking questions, for being like, what does this do with my health? And they're like, no, don't worry about it, just take it.
In the medical community, it is our job to question things. We are meant to do the research. We're meant to come up with these new treatments. We can't just blindly follow the political narrative. And especially as scientists, if you go into the medical field, in some way you are a scientist. What happened to scientific theory?
what? If you go into the medical field, you are some degree a scientist. No? No. No, actually, you're not. You're not a trained scientist if you are going into the medical field, and by that she's talking about like doctors and nurses. Nurses aren't scientists. Doctors aren't scientists either. They're doctors. They have expertise on the body. Sometimes some of them write medical research papers. That's true. But when they're doing research, they are being scientists. But if they're just practicing medicine, that's applying science. It's not being a scientist. You're not discovering new things necessarily. I don't know. I know it's a semantic quibble, but like, I just can't, man.
What happened to questioning? What happened to critical thinking or logic? You need those things. You need curiosity. You need to question things in order to make improvements and to come up with treatment.
Yeah, but that also requires applying the scientific method, something that's anathema to conservative ideology.
You can't just blindly just not acknowledge it or neglect it, because that's what a lot of medical professionals are doing.
And don't let the media tell you can't question things.
Exactly.
I've been told that it is absolutely impossible and an anomaly today for there to be a woman who is under 25 years old, unvaccinated, does not have an OnlyFans, and has a body count less than 10. True or false?
True.
It's almost impossible.
What? I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, every woman you see who's under 25, between 18 and 25, has slept with 10 dudes. Or 10 people, sorry. It's 2023. 10 people. And has an OnlyFans. That's fucking ridiculous, man. What is this shit? This shit is like teenagers unironically believing their friends when their friend tells them the modern day equivalent of, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend, she just goes to a different school. Now kids are telling each other like, oh yeah, I have an OnlyFans, I'm just not going to share the link with you. Yeah, I'm 15 with an OnlyFans. Yeah, sure, believe me.
Possible to find?
Oh, it's so impossible.
Yeah.
We go back to the fact that when men meet a conservative woman, they're like, you are a rare gem. I'm going to put a ring on it so fast.
And I think the best part of coming on like Turning Point conventions and all these conventions, because we've been traveling together for the past 6 weeks, different conventions. And I think it's just great because like we're all the same here. Like I don't have to worry about feeling like, oh, we all dress adorable. No one dresses like the way that they shouldn't dress. So I feel like that's why we also like got.
Yeah, if you wear anything less than adorable, you're dressing how you shouldn't dress. If you're wearing a crop top, God will fucking smite you, you hussy.
Always at your side.
Just, man. Your segments today have gotten progressively worse. I'm sorry. At least now I'm playing Baldur's Gate, which is fun for me. I don't know that it's necessarily super fun for you.
Guys are like, wait, that one's different over there. Like, she's dressed like not with her whole skin out, like, her stuff's not sticking out, like everything. Back at home in New Jersey, like, if you go out, like, you're like half naked, which is like, why?
And then women get upset when they put themselves on display and they get the reaction from men like that. And it's like, obviously, you're literally displaying yourself like that. You're going to receive
like that and not expect a reaction. That's as simple as it gets. If you do, then just you can't walk around and get offended or mad or upset or angry because someone responds to that.
That is what you're putting on display. Like there's this one.
What the fuck, dude? These are kids? Yep, these are kids. She basically said right there, by the way, like, oh, if you dress like a slut, you're basically asking for it. You can't expect men to see you and not react to that. Like, what? What the fuck is wrong with you? Who told you these things? Who told you that if you dress too provocatively, men will just instinctively want to rape you? That's insane. That's insane. Oh no, Kyryu, I think Salmon Moose is saying that the content I'm covering has gotten progressively worse, not not my content. Their kids. Well, yeah, obviously it's their parents, but also these political organizations they've been inserted into.
Girl, she's younger than me. She like has an OnlyFans, like puts like so many sexual content on social media.
Is this someone you go to school with?
I did. She's still in high school, I believe.
Wait a minute. So you know a high school girl who has an OnlyFans?
Yes. No, yes.
Do her parents know, you think?
I have no idea. But I know through my brother, she like will vent to my brother and be like, "Oh my God, I'm getting it. Like all these men only want this," and it's like that is the only thing you're providing. That's the only.
Well, it's also her job. You know, like that. Like her job is to create that content, and that's just kind of like, yeah, obviously she'd be making a lot of provocative content, you know. Ooh, Conjure Minor Elemental Scroll.
Thing you're showing, like you can't expect men to like see you differently when that's what you are presenting to them.
If women, as a whole, with
She said they're in high school. Well, there are 18. Look, I think if they had salacious information about underage kids with OnlyFans, they would absolutely present that in this segment. And given that they're not saying that, there was probably some clarification that, like, her friend who's doing OnlyFans is 18 years old. You know? I'm guessing that's what it is, you know? Do they not have No, they absolutely have age verification. But also, you know, age verification can be, you know, cheated and, you know, disregarded by people sometimes. Like that has been known to happen. So it wouldn't be like the craziest thing if that was the case. Or the most obvious thing, true Gamer G. In my hubris, I didn't actually address the most obvious answer to this conundrum, which is just they're telling lies.
held sex before marriage, would we be better as a society?
Yes, by far.
You
Guys
would
would respect us more.
You would also have like better men too. You would have better families, better structure.
Why would you have better men? One of you guys literally just made the argument that if men see women who are dressed too provocatively, they're gonna lose their minds and just like go on a rape spree. Like why on earth? Why on earth do you think that like, oh, we'd have better men if what y'all want to wear burqas? Like, you know, as soon as you float that idea, by the way, against these people, they're like, what? No, that would be barbaric. It's like, why is your conception of men so weak that like men are just like a hair's breadth away from, you know, doing rapes at any given opportunity, you know, like.
And I think that's what's important. And I think like
honestly, like conservatives who claim to like be men's rights activists or like, you know, in favor of the patriarchy.
Out of sight, out of mind.
They
I just want a little look.
They honestly like have the like worst ideas
These
about
boobs have
men.
seen everything.
They're the people who are going around talking about how like men, you know, men are inherently wired these ways, and it's like, man, that's gross. Like it's gross and it belittles men. They won't let men cry, and they frankly think so little of men that they're like, yeah, no, if a woman's wearing a crop top, you know, you're seeing too much tummy skin. Oh man, they're gonna get you. Just crazy stuff, man.
God provided us with that structure, and that's why I believe there's spiritual warfare everywhere.
Do you think that we control a lot more than we think with our ability to give or withhold sex as women?
Yes, I think that, again, like the left is trying to say, oh, women should start their careers and so, but like when you talked at YWLS about like birth control, mothering styles, parenting styles, excuse me, but that is what prepares us instead of withholding information. That's what prepares us to make our own choices, educated choices, and be more prepared for parenthood at a younger stage in life. And so that's what the left does not want. They want us to be on OnlyFans. They want us to be
No one on the left wants you to be on OnlyFans. If you want to be on on OnlyFans, like go for it. But like no one's out here being like, just start an OnlyFans today. It's the only way to be cool. Like, nah, people just need extra money because things fucking suck in the workforce right now.
Still missing after all. Nothing happens until he's found.
Yeah, like Joe Biden isn't going out there in front of the country and being like, hey everybody, you need to start an OnlyFans.
In unstable relationships to break down the family structure, and I really think that that turning point is going to help that.
Jesus showed us that like when you're standing by the truth, you are going to be persecuted for it, and that's something that I'm reminded of each time. And if like the world is with me, I know I'm not with God. So
Yes, so if everyone disagrees with me, you see that's actually proof that I'm right. Well, that honestly means you don't believe in the scientific method.
If I'm getting attacked by the world, I know I'm doing right by God. So that's the way that I genuinely feel. If I'm getting attacked social media wise, you know what, whatever. The mainstream media likes to show that there's that narrative, but when I sit down, I talk to people, they believe the way that I believe and they're just afraid. Do not let the world like dictate your beliefs, because we understand that this world is not true, you know, and that's why I believe what I believe.
I used to try to stay off of social media, and recently with my work, I'm part of the Vaccine Safety Research Foundation, and then now part of Turning Point, they're telling me, you need to post, you need to be active. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to do this and not get censored. And it's so very difficult, especially when it does come to medical subjects like the vaccine, because that is so easily taken off by fact checkers. I don't even know who they are or what organization they're a part of, but they're definitely not accurate on a lot.
The fact checkers are typically part of, you know, the organizations doing the fact checking, like AP has fact checkers. Like they'll tell you who they work for. That's like, it's not a secret.
A lot of things that they fact check.
Now you're in medical school, so this is different. But for you three and you two, you guys are both in college. And you're in high school. Do you feel like college has been a waste of time?
Yes.
Would you have still gone to college?
Yes and no. So I have to really work hard in school. I'm more creative, and like I could do anything else. But when you put like a history textbook in front of me, I have to really, really put in the work in order to get like good grades and everything. But when I was a freshman, I actually got sent home for 25 days because a person in my class tested positive for COVID, and my professor called me on for the whole entire class. And he said, oh, well, you're not vaccinated, so just go home.
I'm a politics and law major, so I want to do something in the political world, and I'm going to a left-leaning university. I'm not learning anything. When I go to the Leadership Institute conferences and here, like Turning Point conferences, that's where I learn. Wow. One of my classes one of my political classes, literally the textbook had BLM and the pro-choice right in the cover.
Pleasure doing business.
Now I chose not to go to college. Where are you leaning?
Either UC.
Your textbook had BLM and pro-choice on the cover? What? I'm sorry. Like bring the textbook then, dog. Like show the pictures. Like you can hold up a prop or something. Come on. I need to see that textbook. I'm deeply curious.
School, or definitely a state school, I want to change it from the inside out. The system of control that the left has established. I find that in history books, my school is pretty conservative curriculum, conservative school board, but yet there's teachers that want to pioneer this. It's just not true. It's false information. Even history books, whether it be my government teacher that I'm going to have this year or in
my government teacher,
U.S. history, they're all like, oh, there's a party switch, and then they can't elaborate on it, and they're like, oh, look at the textbook. But I've learned more from Dr. James Lindsay yesterday about Mao in China, and we did not.
Oh my god, dude. Oh god. I learned more from James Lindsay. Is not a sentence you ever want to hear. Oh my god, dude.
Not learn any of that growing up. Like, even though it's not in our class like U.S. history or local history, it's in world. Learning that, I feel like, is more important than a fake party switch.
I can tell you, I didn't learn any U.S. history other than for 1 month in 5th grade. Out of elementary, middle school, and the little bit of high school I attended.
That's just blatantly a lie. I'm relatively familiar with the curriculums used for children in elementary school and middle school, and there's no way you went through all of that schooling and didn't have anything on American history. Nothing on the Civil War, nothing on the Revolutionary War. I call bullshit on that. Unless you were homeschooled, in which case, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that that's the case.
Even in college, it's not required. Nothing.
Well, yeah, why would it be required in college? You're paying to go to college to study in a field of your choice. Like that, why would it be required in college? Jesus Christ.
Nothing whatsoever. So it's been difficult trying to learn that myself. And then as for what you'll find in California, especially with general education requirements, is that each professor writes their own textbook now.
What?
Yes.
No, they don't. Sometimes they do, but they don't write every text. Jesus fucking Christ. It is a mark of prestige if you are able to bring the author of your of a given textbook to your college. Like, colleges try and do that, but like it's not a requirement by any means.
No, that's scary because like I'm a politics major. I literally like my Texas history class, Texas history. For some reason, we spent a whole hour going over like speaking correct pronouns. Why is this important? Why am I'm wasting time? I'm wasting money. I've literally like.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess it's not like she's complaining about like the first class of the semester where like they go over like how they like professors go over how they want people in class to treat each other and address each other and like the expectations and like the syllabus and all that jazz. And she's like upset that they mentioned pronouns. Again, it's all that guy. It's all the egg-headed guy shouting pronouns. Like that's every conservative.
Like when people speak to me and they're like, oh, you know so much about politics. I learned from YouTube. I learned from my own merit. Everything I've learned has not been through.
Oh, I learned through my own merit. I didn't have any help.
Bloody ages we spent hiking from Murren, and they won't let us in the city proper. Bollocks. We're adventurous, damn it.
Why won't they let you in?
The bridge guard chatted some shite about a coronation. Couldn't really make head nor tail of it.
Come to Baldur's Gate, he said. Adventurers get welcomed as heroes, he said. Poxy Drim and his bleeding notions.
School.
See, now if you're wanting to go to college specifically because you want to change it from the inside out, you got your work cut out for you. Last parting words of wisdom for other young conservative women out there. We'll start with you.
Okay, I would say never give up. When I got to my college campus, I was like, I need to transfer, this is terrible. And my dad was like, you're staying. He was like, don't be a snowflake. It's the exact words. Don't be a snowflake. And that honestly gave me
Well, you know, no wonder. Like if you have a parent literally being like, "Don't be a snowflake, daughter. Don't you do it. Don't you shame our snowflake family." Like, yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You wind up like this, right?
like the courage to like stand up in front of my school. I actually run a conservative women's group on my college campus, and it took 6 meetings to try and get that to campus. And they were like, "We don't want this here. Like, you know, we have 12 LGBTQ clubs. We don't want this. Like, this is just not what our college campus needs." And I decided to fight it. So anyone who's out there, I think you really have to put your foot down, and you have to just keep moving. And there's always like all these girls here support me. Every Turning Point girl, every LI girl, every girl in every conference. I don't need people at school. I need my girls around me.
Yeah. You are not alone through this. As you see here, there's so many women that are going to empower you. You're gonna face pushback. I really love what Charlie Kirk said during TLS when I was there. When you are a conservative or a Christian, your life does not become necessarily easier, but it becomes better. And remember that when you are living the life of Christ, it's gonna be hard. But push through it. Stay strong and stay fierce. Like, do not be afraid. When you're facing pushback, that's where you push harder. Do not be afraid. And like when people are asking questions, answer and respond with kindness.
I would say stimulate thought. a lot of people,
That should do ya.
they need that seed planted. Just a little bit can
Just plant people with seed.
go a long way to inspire them, to make them think, because that's one of the things that we're lacking, especially as a generation. It's curiosity and the willingness to question things. We need that.
Don't be afraid to go against the grain, whether it be in journalism, whatever medical field. You're probably not alone. You have goals.
You know, yeah, if you're in the medical field, you know, just ignore what your professors tell you. You know, even if you haven't gotten to learning surgery yet, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just give it a shot. You know, like just find some stray animals. Find some desperate people who are willing to roll the dice. You know, like don't let anyone hold you back. Don't let the ethics of science hold you back.
Like us, and also you'll build a community and a happy one, and that's what's most important, just like Charlie says.
Ladies, thank you so much for doing a Cute-servative roundtable with me. You're fabulous, beautiful, stunning, smart, hair shiny and bouncy, smell like strawberries, all the nice things that the left will never admit, but they know it's true. Like, follow, comment.
What? The left will never admit that you smell like strawberries. What? I'm sure they do, but also, like, I don't give a fuck about that. Also, why would the left want to smell underage teenagers? Like, sorry, not interested in that, you fucking weirdos. But also, like, what a weird segment, man. All I have to say is, like, these people are deeply uncool, and they're going to be deeply unhappy, and, like, their entire worldview is built around propping up a bigoted system that, like, their parents and grandparents had a hand in building and maintaining, and, like, they're gonna wind up miserable and alone. They're gonna wonder why their kids don't call them anymore, and it's gonna be because, like, well, you had a trans kid, and, you know, they don't want to be around you anymore because you misgender them and call them a snowflake. Or, like, they're gonna wonder, oh, why does my lesbian daughter not come home anymore? And it's because you keep talking about how, like, pride is going too far, and, like, how the gays are degenerate, you know, or and how their marriages should be invalidated, like, or you know, you have a straight kid who, like, gets married to a transgender person, and, like, and you just don't accept it. Like, you're going to be alone. If you are conservative, you are going to be alone in a prison of your own making. Or you're going to be with people who absolutely are going to tear you down in accordance with the systems you've both helped prop up.